All right, so what does the Bible say about money? Let's jump right into this, right? There's two scriptures I want to look at real quick. Genesis, and this is a reference for you to go back and check out yourself in your own time. Genesis chapter 41, verse 17 through 49. This is the Joseph savings plan. So this is a savings plan that I literally took from the Bible and implemented in my own life, tweaked it a little bit, but conceptually, this is important. Genesis chapter 41, verses 17, I could talk through 49. It teaches you how to manage resources during good and bad times. It teaches you the importance of strategic leadership. And over time, it all adds up. So kind of like a long-term thinking mentality, if you will. All right, so let me tell you why. When you're looking in Genesis, chapter 41, this is the story of Joseph. So I'm gonna give you a quick synopsis, and I want you to go back and look at this on your own time and depth. In the story of Joseph, first of all, we talk about starting from the bottom, right? We're talking about a mindset. Joseph started with nothing. His brothers sold him into slavery. He was imprisoned wrongfully. So you talk about somebody who has excuses, right? Excuses to complain about everything they don't have and every reason not to have it. He goes to prison, and this is how he gets out of prison, long story short. When he was 17 years old, God gave him a dream. God gave him this dream that was to be interpreted when he was in his 30s, about 20 years later. So I want you to also understand the importance of time. And sometimes we lose track and sight of the fact that things take time. Get rich quick schemes are not from God. Things that you think, oh my God, I'm gonna watch a 30-second video from this millionaire and I'm gonna be a millionaire without ever changing my mind, without ever surrendering anything to Christ, without ever learning good stewardship and having a purpose behind the money. It's not gonna happen. We're gonna stick to Joseph. So Joseph has to interpret this dream from Pharaoh, which the dream in and of itself is this. This is dope. The dream is about how to manage the resources, the wheat, the food during the good times to prepare for the bad times. It says it's going to be 7 good years, 7 years of famine. Joseph tells him by a God-given interpretation of this dream, this is what your dream means. You need to save. He didn't say the word 20%. I want to say he said 1/5. That's how I got to the 20%. But he said you need to save this portion of the food and the grain and the resources during the good times. It's a lot for us to learn here, dog, if we being real, because during the good times, that's when a lot of us lose it. During the best of times, right? Tax season. Come on. All right, let me talk to you then. During tax season, it's jokes. Like we joke about it all the time. I'm going to be real with y'all. I stopped doing these type of jokes and laughing at these type of jokes a long time ago. Jokes about the bill collector calling you, jokes about being broke. That junk ain't funny to me. I was broke. So for me, it's like, all right, some of us laughing and you still broke. And it ain't funny to me. If it's funny to you, no offense, you could be broke and still go to heaven. So this ain't about taking shots at nobody or making nobody feel less than. I ain't talking about an amount of money. I'm talking about a mindset. But you got the good times that we lose it. God told Joseph through interpretation, through this dream that he told him the whole plan of how to survive. During the good times, you save 1/5 of the crops, right? During the bad times, now you've saved for 7 years, 20%, right? Year over year is compounded. So when you hit a bad year, you got all these resources that you were prepared for the bad times for. So what does that mean? It means that a lot of us, when we look at our own finances, have to ask ourselves, while things are going good, am I being responsible? Am I being a good steward? So remember, I told you the first thing we're going to talk about is stewardship. There are 3 reasons that I believe that it's important to learn about money as a believer. It is stewardship, freedom, right? And what did I say? Quality of life / opportunities. So freedom could really be / opportunities as well. Stewardship is the most important thing. This is your mindset. Stewardship is like this. What can God trust me with? All right. What can God trust me with? That's what stewardship is. Would you leave the keys to your car with your 5-year-old, right? That you can't trust that 5-year-old to steward that car, to make the right decisions, and so that you come back and your car is in this proper condition. You can't do that. But maybe if you get an 18 or 19-year-old, maybe still a little too young, I don't know, depending on what kind of car you got. But maybe you start being able to trust depending on their level of maturity. See, the thing is, some of us have the mindset of a 5-year-old when it comes to finances, but we want God to entrust us with millions. In order for God to entrust you, now I ain't talking about you can go out here and do shady stuff for money all day. It don't got nothing to do with God. I'm talking about for God, for purpose-driven money, for God to entrust you with finances and opportunities and resources. He has to know that you're going to do the right thing with it. The right thing is hard to do, y'all, because some of us, we think about the right thing through the wrong mindset, right? I ain't even going to get into that. So that's the story of Joseph. And what happens is Pharaoh says to Joseph, since God gave you this plan, then who better than you to lead it? And that gave Joseph the opportunity to actually lead this strategy in the kingdom and actually be in in command to Pharaoh, right? So a lot of us always focus on he's in second in command to Pharaoh, all this stuff. But you have to look at what he did to get there and the strategy he used, and it worked. That's really the thing. Rochelle, what's up? How you doing? Thank you for jumping in and commenting. The thing we have to understand is that it worked. All right, so let me keep it going, y'all. Let's go back. Let's go back here. The second scripture that I want to talk to y'all about is Matthew chapter 25. That's the parable of the talents in 14 through 30, right? So Matthew chapter 25, verses 14 through 30, parable of the talents. Some have more, others have less. These are some of the takeaways we'll have from there. It is sinful to do nothing with the little you have. Ooh, and passive income gains interest. All right, so when you think about Matthew chapter 25, verses 14 through 30, again, this is the parable of the talents. And what is the first thing? Some have more, others have less. All right, so I want to talk about this as it relates to money. This is why I don't talk about finances through the lens of, are you a millionaire or not? How much money you got? Show me your money. Show me your watch. Show me your car. Show me you. All that. First of all, I'm going to just be real with y'all. I never want that stuff to define me. Like for me, it's like if I throw stuff in people's face, then that's telling them that is who I think I am. But if I just show people me, right? That's how I feel. My character, my personality, whatever it is, my thoughts, my mindset, like they'll get me. And then what'll happen is, because the Bible says the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away, if I ever found myself in a position where I didn't have something, I'm still me. So I don't have to front for nobody because I lost something or because something happened. And I think a lot of us put ourselves in position, just, if you think about it, just philosophically, like you on Facebook all the time. Oh, I'm gonna tell y'all, this is where you see this the most, right? You see this the most in relationships. This ain't a shot at nobody because everybody do it. So in relationships, everybody is always like, we happy online. You will only see the happy pictures. I ain't never showed y'all an argument with me and my wife on Facebook. So you only see all the good stuff, right? And then the moment somebody broke up, divorced, like something changed, like a lot of times you really just know because something in the behavior changed. Because what happened is, it's like, dang, I done spent all this time trying to show people that I'm in this perfect relationship, that when it ain't perfect, it's like, I'ma just not say nothing. I'ma not say, right? And so what happens is you put yourself in a position where it gets weird because, all right, I announced all the good stuff, but I never announced we wasn't together. Y'all just got to figure that out. I ain't saying you should announce a divorce. I'm just saying that this is the position we put ourselves in when we like always showing people stuff. Then when we lose it, it's kind of like, oh, I'm embarrassed, right? That's really what happens. So let's go back over here. Some have more, others has less. It is sinful to do nothing with the little you have. All right, so look, Matthew chapter 25, verses 14 through 30, the parable of the talents. I'm going to give you a quick synopsis of what's there, same way we did with Joseph, and I want you to go study that in your own time. At the end of the day, this is a parable. So this is Jesus giving this parable of a situation, right? And Jesus talked in parables on purpose to believers. so that believers can understand what he was saying. This is a conversation he had at one point with the disciples. All right, cool. So when you think about the parable of the talents, what happens is the master leaves three different amounts of money. Talents is what the currency was called, to three different servants, right? So you leave one talent. So let's just say dollars. You leave one person $1. Let's say 100. You know what I'm saying? Like, can we say 100? Can God leave me at least $100? So you leave one person $100, another person $200, and another person $500. The master leaves. They don't know when he's coming back. This is stewardship right here. We still talking stewardship. So the master leaves, gives the servants this amount of money to steward. God want to see, all right, what you gonna do with what I gave you? So you had three different scenarios. The person that had the 5, they took it and they doubled it and made 10. Like, ooh, okay. I see you out here, player. You doubled it and made 10. The person that was left with 200 took it, or the person with 500 took it and made 1,000, right? We ain't talking about dollars, we talking about hundreds. So I got to get it right. So the person that left $200 took it and made $400. All right, I see you, player. I see you, big dog. Person left $100. You know what they did? Ooh-wee, this is what some of us do. See, this is when we talking about the millionaire mindset. You know what I'm saying? We trying to like cleanse ourselves right now. Person with $100 dug a hole, hid it in the ground. Hid it in the ground because they didn't think it was enough. Some have more, others have less. So we got to realize in this life, some of y'all just gonna have more than me. Some of y'all got more hair than me. I got to be cool with that. See, the thing with me is like, we have to be cool with who we are. So many of us are trying to compete with each other that we don't even realize you competing with something that you ain't never gonna have, bro. The reason I don't want to waste time competing with people is because some of the stuff y'all got, I'm just never gonna have. So it's like, bro, I would be wasting my time competing with you because God blessed you and entrusted you with something that he just didn't see fit for me to be entrusted with. It ain't mine. You feel what I'm saying? The person with one dug a hole, left it in the ground and did nothing. The master comes back and the master now, this is deep. You know what I'm saying? Now the master comes back. He want to know, what did you do with what I left you with? And what I love about this parable is that it is literally talking about money. See, this is one of the ways that I became comfortable with talking through and thinking through money as a believer, is because the Bible does literally talk about money in various scriptures. This is literally about money. So I don't have to be afraid to think about money or talk about money as a believer, but I need to talk about it and think about it through the lens of the Bible, right? All right, that's different. That's different. So master comes back. Look at the person that took 500 and turned it to 1,000, 5 talents and turned it into 10, and said, well done, thy good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over few. Now I will make you ruler over many. See, a lot of us go around quoting this part. Well done, my good and faithful servant. Wait a minute. This is in reference to money. This is in reference to a master that came back and noticed that this servant did the right thing with their money. Now, I know this is deeper than money, but the parable is specifically leveraging money as an example. What does this mean? Well done, my good and faithful servant. You've been faithful over a few. I will make you ruler over many. Here's what I love about the master, and it's kind of intriguing to me in this whole story. He comes back to each of them, and he always called it few that he left them with. I never really thought about that until right now. Like, what's a lot to us is a little to God anyway. Like, you could be walking around with $5 million and thinking like, ooh, I'm killing it, whatever. But the end of the day is that ain't nothing to some of the richest people in the world. That's why you have to be comfortable with what God entrusted you with. The person that was left with 2 talents or $200 in our example, took it and doubled it. The master comes back, says the same thing. Well done, thy good and faithful servant. You've been faithful over a few things. I will make you ruler over many. Now, here's the crazy thing about that. If the goal is to hear well done, then it doesn't matter if you got 200 or 500. It doesn't matter if you make $50,000 a year or $100,000 a year. You still have the ability to please God and do what you were supposed to do with what he left you with. Now, think about this in terms beyond money. Think about the gifts that God gave you. We don't all have the same gifts. Some people can sing their heart out. Some of us wish we could sing like these people can sing, right? Some people can dance their heart out. I wish I could dance how some of y'all could dance, but I can't do that. But the good thing about it is the reason I don't have to be in constant competition with you is because in order to hear well done, thy good and faithful servant, if God didn't leave me with the gift of dance, he doesn't expect me to do it. See, the problem would be if I tried to go and live out your gift and do what God called you to do, I would never hear well done, my good and faithful servant. And then the last part of that that's super interesting to me is that you've been faithful over a few, so I will make you ruler over many. There's this interesting thing that God does when he can trust you with something is that he then gives you more. That's dope. The thing is, if I make myself trustworthy, I also prepare myself for abundance. Some of us have been trying to figure out, why can't I ever seek abundance? Why can't I touch abundance? Why can't I make it to more? And it could be that you can't be trusted. God can't trust you with the little bit he gave you, and you keep asking him for more. This is challenging to talk about because it sounds kind of harsh, but in order to make this point clearer, I got to go to the last person that I've been delaying talking about. The person that was left with one talent or $100 in our example. When the master came back, that person basically described to the master why he left, dug a hole and did nothing with what the master gave him. And the master called him a wicked and slothful or lazy servant. Then the master took what he did have and gave it to those who did the right thing and already had more. Man, you know how crazy that is? You know how crazy it is to think about. I was complaining because I only had a little bit. So I made every excuse in the book not to do nothing. Only for God to come back and call me wicked and lazy and take the little bit he gave me because he couldn't trust me to do the right thing with it. And see, God, what he wants, in that example in the Bible, it says you should have gone and gained interest on what I gave you. Now, here's what I love about interest. First of all, from a literal standpoint in talking about money, it's an important aspect in understanding what to do with your money and when to do it, because interest is this ability to do nothing, but still get more. And that's why God was like, in this scripture, it literally says like you could have took it to the bank and gained interest, right? You could have, if you didn't want to do nothing, you could have did nothing a better way. You dug a hole and literally did nothing, but there was a better way. All right. What I also love about this idea of interest is if I look at this entire story at a high level, right now we're talking about, let's go deeper into purpose and spirituality and our gifts. God left you with a gift. He left you with the ability to do something to some extent, to some level, left us all with various amounts. When he comes back, what he's expecting to see is what did you do with your gift? Did you gain interest for the kingdom of heaven? Meaning, did you use your gift to draw people unto him? All right. God gave you the gift to sing. Did you go out and become the next best R&B singer and take your shirt off and lead a bunch of people to the bedroom, make some baby making music, and you gained interest for the kingdom of darkness? You actually use your gift to draw people away from God. Now, I didn't give you your gift. I'm not here to judge you or fight with you about it. I know people might get mad or whatever. I get cussed out on YouTube. My YouTube comments, I get cussed out, fam. Like, they go off on me, especially when I start talking like this. Because why? I get it. We're emotional in a sensitive society, and no one wants to actually hear the truth. But the reality of it is, God gave you a gift to draw people unto him. And whatever you do with that gift, when he comes back, he's going to want to know, did you gain interest for the kingdom, or did you dig a hole and do nothing? That ain't me. That's God talking. All right. All right. Appreciate y'all, Rochelle, J Pat. I see y'all.